What's going on, everybody? Back with another WNBA player props video. We got some massive news in this one. We got some massive news. Prize Picks. We'll get right into it. Made a big announcement yesterday. Three pick standing entries. If you've been tuning into my content, I've been doing a lot of 3-pick videos, and I've been talking about locking them in over on Underdog Fantasy because they pay out 6x. Prize Picks is now paying out 6x on 3-pick entries, which is going to make them far more optimal. If you've been tuning into my content, I've been saying for quite some time to not play 3-pick entries on Prize Picks because they pay out 5x, which long term is really gonna hurt you. I've been breaking that down pretty consistently over the last few videos on this channel, and then of course Prize Picks announces out of nowhere they're gonna now pay out 6x, which is those 3-pick standard entries of the 6x over on Underdog Fantasy we were talking about on this channel consistently are minus 122 implied odds. We were getting a much better deal compared to Prize Picks, where they were charging a minus 140 price tag to have to get all 3 of your picks right. And I was talking over and over and over again about how if you're hitting your picks at a 60% hit rate with that 6x payout on Underdog Fantasy, you're getting a 30% return on investment compared to the old Prize Picks payout structure where you were getting, only an 8% return on investment. And if you were hitting at a 55% hit rate, you were in the negative 17% ROI compared to Underdog Fantasy, where the 6x, you're getting your money back. You're breaking even if you're hitting at a 55% hit rate, which is hard enough to do. So, long story short, this is a massive deal. This is a massive deal that Prize Picks is now paying out 6x for 3-pick entries. I just clicked on 3 random players, so if you're someone that just clicks on people's YouTube channels and doesn't actually listen and you're just locking in these random plays, these are not my plays. Hopefully nobody did that. I was trying to break down the payout structure here, but we're going to get into the actual plays here. And this is a big deal, people. This is a big deal. Because now we're not limited to Underdog Fantasy on the 3-pick entries. We can do either Underdog Fantasy and or Prize Picks, which you're going to see me talk about a lot now. Comparing the two, Underdog Fantasy has, an ability to nuke certain props now with their payout multipliers. They've changed it. Prize Picks has done the same thing with the Demons and Goblins, but we got a whole new ball game now. This is going to be fun because I know people like less picks. They like their 3-pick entries. They weren't a big fan of the 6-pick entries where you got to kind of be patient, wait it out for the big hits. So never been a better time to sign up for the premium content. Over in the VIP, we'll be having a lot of 3-pick entries now on both Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy. You can head on over and get the launch off member package for a 7-day free trial to build your bankroll up to the premium packages. But I also do offer the VIP, the Platinum. Read the description right below the join button. Each and every single one. We got the beginner level. You get 1 optimal play per day. The serious players, and they're in the VIP. You get access to all of my player props for all of these player props DFS apps. And then if you're someone that does sportsbooks as well, the DraftKings, the FanDuel sportsbooks of the world, the Platinum member package was just launched. That's kind of off the ground for the people that are really, really, really serious. I'm building that for you guys. So let's talk about it. I'm going to be giving you guys a free VIP play in this one. And it's going to feel a little bit weird breaking down a 3-pick on Prize Picks. But that's what we got now, man. We got 3-pick entries being valid on Prize Picks. So if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, use the promo code KJKDFS. My link down below. I'll have all my links pinned as the top comment to make it nice and easy on you. Prize Picks deposit match. We got Underdog Fantasy as well to match you up to $1,000. We got Betr Picks as well. They'll give you a sweet 100% deposit match with the promo code KJKDFS. My link down below. So all 3 of these apps are going to be valid for these plays. But once again, now we got Underdog Fantasy with the 6x payouts for the 3 picks and Prize Picks for the 6x. So we can use both of those apps, Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and we can lock in wherever it has the better plays, the better value for the 3 picks, and they're both 6x. Big deal. Big deal. So we're locking this in on Prize Picks today because we'll talk about it. One of these plays, you can see it on the screen right now, is nuked on the Underdog Fantasy platform. Is this Brittany Sykes PRA, the 29.5. So you can see in real time. Underdog has gone ahead and they've said, we're only going to pay you 0.92x to take the over the 29.5 PRA. We'll pay you 1.04x to take the under. So the reason they do this, they're going to nuke. I call it nuking the prop in my Discord and when I talk about the content. Nuking just means they've altered your payout. They've taken away the standard payout structure. So all these things I talk about as far as getting maximum value for the 6x. They're ripping you off is essentially straight to the point. This applies to any app, any any sports book, any place that you place a player prop, it's all the same game. It's just some are a multiplier format, some are an odds format. The over 29.5 PRA. So we got the Washington Mystics taking on the Indiana Fever, and this one a 162 over under, 5-point spread in favor of the Indiana Fever. So it is a decent total with the 162 implied total. Is expected to stay close with only a 5-point spread. These are both good things, pace and a close matchup to hit the over on a prop, which is what we're going to need here tonight because we're targeting Miss Brittany Sykes in her over PRA. Now, why do I like this prop? I'm using multiple tools every single day to find the very best plays on these apps. Guys, try to break it down and give you guys the full details as far as what goes in my process on the channel. Be very transparent about it. One of them is going to be the Daily Guide Fantasy Optimizer. I'll break down exactly how I use this tool. If you do find it valuable, they'll give you a sweet 25% off deal with my link down below. Once again, I'll have all my links pinned as the top comment. We got the 29.5 PRA. Now, simply put, every single day there's going to be multi-million-dollar sports books setting lines. They're going to set the line at a certain number. They're going to charge you to take either the over or the under. And they do this to keep themselves in business. They set these lines very precisely. They're very good at what they do. And we can use this data to find the very best plays on these apps. They're factoring in the matchup, the pace of the game, who's going to be defending or on the other side. I saw a comment regarding, foul trouble and blowouts. They factor in all of these things. There's obviously going to be variance. There's going to be things that go wrong. There's going to be things that help you, and there's going to be things that hurt you. So when we're taking an over, obviously we want the game to stay close. If the game goes to overtime and you have an over and she needs one more PRA, you're going to be happy. If the game goes to overtime and you have the under, you're not going to be happy. It's just kind of the name of the game. But this edge is what we're doing here. This has an edge. I only place props that have an edge. So we have a 2.81% chance edge. This is a realistic edge in how you actually make money on these apps. Anybody who's, the term lock is thrown around in this industry a lot. Lock, that means it has a 100% chance to hit. That's not a thing. This has a 52.81% chance to hit, which is, that's an edge. That's good. She's favored on the over at -125 on the over on BetMGM, -125 on the over on Caesars. She's at -134, meaning you'd have to risk $134 to win 100 to take the over. On Hot Streak, for instance, Props Builder, 130. So we don't care which side of the prop we're taking, the over and the under. All we care about is we're taking the side that is most likely to win in an optimal slip type, giving ourselves, the best chance to win on these apps. Then if we want to get real detail-oriented, I always talk about, the OddsJam Sportsbook screen, another tool that we could be bringing in. Once again, they'll hook you up with a sweet deal. My link down below if you find this tool valuable. What is this going to do? This is going to bring in literally every single possible place you could be taking each and every single possible line, like under the sun. So the Brittany Sykes over 29.5 PRA. You can see the best possible place you can take her PRA is on Prizepicks in our 5 or 6 pick flex at the -119 price tag is what this OddsJam Sportsbook screen is telling us. Keep in mind, I got 283 sportsbooks selected on this screen. So literally any possible place you could be placing this, I got pulled up here. You can see she's at 30.5 on FanDuel. They are slightly favoring her under. 29.5 on DraftKings, -135 on the over, 29.5 favored on the over. She's listed at 30.5 on Ballybet, where they're only offering a one-sided market. You can only take the over. It is -112 to take the over, but it's an entire PRA higher once again, the 30.5. So the market tells a story. The market always tells a story. You can see she's at 30.5 with -138 on the under on Betfair. What the market's telling us is she's going to end with 30 PRA exactly, which I know sounds crazy that they can, nail it down to that. They're going to list her at 29.5 in favor of the over, and they're going to list her at 30.5 in favor of the under. And they're saying she's going to end with 30 PRA exactly. So for those of you that are getting started with this and you're like, that's crazy. If you like her a lot, it's a good matchup. Why wouldn't you take the over at 30.5? Why does it matter? Isn't she going to go off? Hopefully this makes sense. Like that edge, the thing I'm talking about with the 2% edge or whatever the case may be. Like these markets are very precise. I will say she is up to 31.5 in multiple places as well, which does make us happy when we're getting the 29.5 number. She's at 31.5, aggressively favored on the under at the score. -155 on the under here at 31.5. That's an entire 2 PRA higher. Same thing could be said over here on Sportsbet. So that certainly makes us happy as well. The bigger discrepancies we can find, the bigger edge we're getting, the more happy we are, right? If she was listed up at like 35.5 and we're getting 29.5, like, yes, please, we'll take the over. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the first play. And once again, she is nuked on Underdog Fantasy. So what I mean nuke, see, they're paying less to take the over. We can go ahead and over to Prizepicks now. Now that they're offering, you know, this beautiful 6x payout structure, I'm going to be able to come on this channel and tell you, you can take this in a 3-pick entry on Prizepicks, which makes me very happy. Because I know people just, you know, want their 2 picks and their 3 picks. They don't really like the 6 picks, even though they were optimal. I used to get so much, you know, people would get so mad because they would go 5 out of 6 and we missed one. And I would say, you got to stick it out because long term is the best way to profit. Now that we're getting, you know, that minus 122 deal that we're talking about all the time, compared to Underdog with a 6x, we can actually take 3 picks on Prizepicks. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So the 29.5 is the number we want here. If we talk about it, that's the edge we're getting on Brittany Sykes. That's going to be play number 1 here today. Love that for sure. Oh, we'll continue along here. So we got her out of the way. Next play that we're going to be talking about, we'll talk about Miss Skylar Diggins. Skylar Diggins, another matchup that I like here. Using our tools over Outlier. Once again, a phenomenal resource. I'll tell you exactly how I use them, and you can get a 7-day free trial with my link down below, completely free. Went ahead and partnered up with these guys. I try to give you as much free value on the channel as possible, man. So take advantage of these offers. All these tools that I'm talking about, the tools that I actually use. If you're someone that doesn't want to hop in, you know, my Discord, you want to do your own research, this is, you know, a great resource to be using. We got 17.5 points is the line that we got over in the VIP. See this bright green? I got the over 17.5 selected. I like to go ahead and go to the player props section and sort this by implied probability. That's that same concept I talked about with the market data. You can see they're giving this a 54% chance to hit on the over. Why is that? Because she's aggressively favored at the 17.5 number. She's actually was up to minus 150 on DraftKings and minus 147 on Sleeper to take that over. That same concept I discussed, you're going to have to risk $150 on 100 to take the over. They're saying it's so likely she goes over, we're going to charge you a way higher price to take the over. Why is that? Once again, they know all these things. So I get straight to the point. I talk about the market data, guys. They know all of these things. Dallas is 11th in the entire WNBA. There's only 13 teams. They're almost dead last in giving up points. They're giving up 89.1 points per game. She's at the guard position. How are they doing versus guards? They're 7th. Still not great. 43.7 points per game. Skylar Diggins-Smith takes 13.1 attempts per game. She's shooting 44% from the field. She takes 3.2 3-pointers a game, where she shoots 37% from behind the arc. And she gets to the free throw line 5 times per game, where she's making 84% of her free throws. So she's shooting frequently, she's making a lot of points, and she gets a great matchup. You know, I try to break it down and dull it down to the simplest of simple things, but they know she's a good shooter. They know she gets to the free throw line. They know the defense she's facing is bad. They know all of these things, right? And then if we want to get straight to the point, I can go ahead and pull up the the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer once again, because this is going to bring in all of those DFS apps that I talk about. Now, she got moved up to 18 even. This is where it becomes a problem. There still is some edge on this. She's got a 51.69% chance to hit. But for full transparency, dude, I got this at 17.5 with my VIP members. This is the annoying part. They're going to change these lines quick. I'm sharing you guys as much free value as I can on the channel. I try to come on and give you, a free VIP play a day, essentially. I'm still going to go ahead and promote it at the 18 even line because you'll push. It won't be the end of the world for the free content, but I have to be transparent with you that we got this at 17.5, and in a perfect world, there's a lot more edge on the 17.5. She's all the way up to a minus 146 favorite to go over 17.5 on Pinnacle. That's like crazy. She's pushing minus 150. We're getting like the minus 122 odds now that we're getting that 6x. And it's a great matchup. So I like to go ahead. Unfortunately, she got moved up to 18 on Underdog Fantasy, 18.5 on Underdog Fantasy as well. There's actually some edge to be had on taking the under. I wouldn't take the under. I like her to go out there and put up some points tonight. I do have her projected to go out there and put up 19 points from a projection model aspect. Skylar Diggins-Smith, let's see here. She's, 19 points here. 32 minutes, 19 points from her projection. But I do try to factor in the market here as well. The fact that they're favoring the over at 17.5, the under at 18.5. I'll go ahead and tell you guys that you can take the under at the 18 even on Prizepicks. I probably wouldn't mess around with the 18.5. And in a perfect world, I really wouldn't mess around with any of it. But that's why I offer the premium content packages. That's what you get with this package that I talk about at the beginning of the videos. If you're someone that wants to jump in the VIP, you get access to these plays as soon as I place them so that when they move the lines, this is what happens. You can see we got it at 17.5. Now she's up to 18 even. Why do they do that? Because Prizepicks is very good at what they do. And they're going oh, you know what? The market, this multi-million dollar market sports data that we have on the back end of our algorithm, it's way too high of a chance she goes over the 17.5. We need to move this to 18 so we don't go broke with all these people beating us on our app that know what they're doing. That's how that works. Okay? That's how that works. And then we continue along here. The last play we're going to talk about is the Natasha Howard rebounds. I kind of cut it off there on. I kind of cut it short there on the Diggins breakdown because the fact that it moved. We'll just speed things up and try to get this content out to you so you can lock in these plays. But the last, but certainly not least one, we got the Natasha Howard rebounds. See what these are. See where she's available. Is she available on Underdog? Is she available on Betr? I like to type it into all three of the optimizers on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Use as much data as we possibly can. The over 6.5 rebounds, you can see she's got a 52.43% chance to hit this. She's minus 125 on Pinnacle, minus 132 on FanDuel. That really sticks out to me. FanDuel, very good at what they do. The fact that they're, pushing minus 132 and it's going up, that certainly sticks out to me, makes me like to play a lot more. We got the Underdog Fantasy platform, they're offering it. We got the Betr platform, they're offering it. So this is a prop that you can get on all three apps, which certainly makes me happy. Like I said, the Skylar Diggins-Smith prop was nuked on Underdog, and you can only get it on Prizepicks at the standard payout. So Natasha Howard, rebounds, another phenomenal prop. We can go ahead and bring in some more data using our friends over at Outlier. I'll just continue to reiterate that when I talk about this market data, they know all these things. Outlier does a fantastic job of giving you the ability to see not only the market data, but also the underlying statistics on a side-by-side. So you can kind of see, you can do your research on the back end. I'm very direct and constantly reminding you the market knows this stuff, but if you're someone that really likes to, do your research, nothing wrong with coming on. Let's go down to the supporting stats here. 6.5 minus 119 on Prizepicks. We can pull up where this is offered. You can see Hard Rock has her all the way up to a minus 145 favorite to go over. Sleeper minus 143. Hard Rock Bet, another Hard Rock book has her at minus 135, minus 132. She was all the way up to minus 130 on DraftKings. Now with some latest data from Outlier, and we could break down exactly what she's doing. She's getting 2.2 offensive rebounds per game and 4 defensive rebounds per game for a total of 6.2 rebounds per game, which makes sense. So she's right on that 6 mark. On average, she's averaging a little bit over 6. They're going to say in this matchup, we're going to set our line at 6.5. She's either going to end with 7 or 6 rebounds. We are indicating that most likely she goes up there and grabs that 7th. So we're going to set the line at 6.5. Then we're going to charge a higher price to take the over. That's how this works. And once again, I can go ahead and pull up all of our props. I can sort them by implied probability. And you can see with the latest data, with that multi-million-dollar sportsbook data, Outlier has this as a 54% chance to hit. It's that same concept. So we're getting a 4% edge on the prop on the side of the over. We don't care if we're taking the over or the under. We could care less. All we care about is taking the side of the prop that is most likely to win. All right, people? So that's my 3 picks to get you win some money tonight. In the WNBA streets, we talked about it. Prizepicks, big deal with that 6x payout now. You can get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 with my link down below, promo code KJKDFS. The link will make it easy on you. You could type in the code manually if you want, but the link will be the easiest way to do it for you. And love those 3 plays. Unfortunately, Diggins got moved up, but I will say, there's still some edge at the 18 even on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We talked about it if you're getting that even number. For the free, it's free, I tried to help you out. In a perfect world, you would have got this at 17.5, but the Sykes prop and the Howard prop, it does look like at the time of recording, you still can get the same lines we got over in the VIP. So there's some free help for you. If you wanted to pivot off the Diggins-Smith to a different 3rd pick, you can still get the 6x payout. Nothing wrong with that. Lastly, you can get access to all my plays as soon as I place them. This is just one that I'm sharing with you for free on the channel with the link down below, the premium content packages. Good luck tonight, guys.